and we both have a very common best friend.
The mics are not recording.
Such a good start, too. He's so annoying.
That was me, audio guy. I can't be talent and crew.
My brain works like a goldfish.
Yeah.
It's like 30 seconds,
refresh,
me too,
dude.
and now it's going to be something completely different.
All the homies.
Yeah! It's all the homies.
It's your boy. It's your boy, Jay Little. All the homies.
So now we do it like the parallel universe version.
Yes,
like we're just completely
in
different.
the
now.
other universe, they're 15 minutes in now.
Yeah.
Everything went perfectly. We had all the stuff
They're
set
already
up.
talking about all the things we don't like about Brandon. Because that's definitely a topic we're going to get to.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's the only thing I wrote down.
Yeah.
He actually already left.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all kicked him out? Okay, good. Anyway, welcome to All The Homies.
What's good?
We'll start with my boy. We always start with the ginger first because he's
Ginger's
got no
first.
soul, but he's got a big heart. My boy over here, Jay Little. Jay Little, introduce yourself.
What's goody, fam? You just introduced me. I'm Jay Little. What's good?
Jay Little, Jay Booty, whatever you want to call him.
Any and all will suffice.
Okay, now you got to introduce me. Return the favor.
And my homie with the tan skin over here,
Olive.
Camille, Philip, Donut.
Thank you. It's Done, guys. We got our first pod in the studio. Okay, so we got a special guest for you today, and it's my boy Grant.
What's up? I'm Grant. Not a special guest, more of just a guest, but we're here.
Depends on what you mean by special.
Absolutely, dude. Special can mean so many different things because, like, if you take that word, it can mean some derogatory things, but it can mean some very special, nice things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We like the nice things.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, I do have that derogatory side, though. Like, I might just start degrading y'all for no reason.
That's okay.
It's
That's how you know
just
we're
wanna-
boys.
no, I'm just-
Yeah. If somebody doesn't make fun of you, I'm like, what's wrong?
Absolutely,
Are you okay?
absolutely. But anyway, Grant, excited that you're here, man.
Excited to be here.
I know that we have known each other for a while. That kind of sounded intimate. Knowing each other
I mean,
for a while.
we know.
But,
same
we've seen
circle.
sides of one another. You know?
Yeah, we've ran in very similar circles, and we've met. I was actually talking to my sister before this podcast, and I was like, well, yeah, it's kind of weird because me and Grant knew each other.
Right.
Me and Jay Little, were friends for a while, but didn't start off necessarily as friends either. But just kind of ran in similar circles, and then just happened to be like.
Same part of
you
life,
got,
same
yeah,
time.
one of my best friends started becoming best friends with you, and the relationship just started to come
It's
together.
weird how that happens, especially like, I don't know, post college, like mid 20s. It's like, I don't know, you never know who you're gonna like run into or become friends with. It's
sure.
weird. It's I don't know. You prioritize different people and are in different parts of life, so it's cool.
And now we're drinking yerba mates
There we go.
together.
Cheers. Yep,
And we're
yep.
gonna get Jay in on this one too.
Yeah,
Cheers,
come
boy.
on.
I'll cheers.
Whatever.
But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you, man, because I've always known you, and I've always known you as a guy of character. Even though we had never really hung out one-on-one outside of social events that we'd been to. I'd always known you as an upstanding guy. It was kind of one of those relationships. Like, I feel like we all have these really kind of weird relationships where you feel like you know somebody. You feel like maybe in a past life you like might have hung out with them, but you just see them on campus. You pass them, and it's like you just know you're chill with the person.
Right.
You just know, and
There's
I
an
feel like
understanding. Yeah.
exactly. I feel
Yeah.
like we've always had that relationship. I know me and Jay kind of talked about that as well. Of just like. You kind of just feel like you're boys without even it needing to be said.
It's the principle of you either get it or you don't. There's two types of people in the world. There's people
That's
that
real.
get it,
That's
and there's
real.
people that don't get it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you don't get it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so that's I think that's the big umbrella over explaining. I don't know.
No, for
people.
sure. Because I don't even think I was trying to think about it on the way here and yesterday. You and I've probably never had a real conversation.
No,
Same.
it's
It was
nothing
like
more than
years
small talk.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing each other
Yeah,
across
like, what's
campus.
up? Right.
But it's crazy, like when you see that person, you just know that they're chill. If like crap hit the fan, aliens are invading, like that he's on your
Apocalypse
side.
talk 5 minutes in.
Dude,
Let's
my
go.
sister
I'm
gives
for
me
it.
the hardest time because like we'll be out at the mall and she's like, "Why are you randomly nodding at people?" Like I'll be like, "What's up?"
It's
And
a
I'm
vibe.
like, because if somebody
it goes
comes in
down,
here and
we
you know
have
what
an
I'm saying? Like,
understanding.
I know who to go to. We already made
Yeah.
the connection.
Same type of person that sits and faces the door at the restaurant because you're like, if crap hits the fan,
Exactly.
I gotta know who's coming in and who's going out.
That guy's watching my back.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got me. So what's been up with you, bro?
Nothing.
Tell me
dude.
about life.
Selling old clothes.
Let's
That's
go.
it.
Dude,
That's
let's go.
that's my total. That's my thing.
So
That's my,
okay, I know that we're familiar with your brand.
Mm-hmm,
It's something that I feel like kind of started like while we were at school.
For sure.
Yeah, and so tell me
Tell
about.
the people the name real quick.
I guess I'll plug myself. I feel bad,
Go
but
for it.
so I run and own a vintage clothing company, and it's called the Sandlot Vintage.
Let's go.
You go to sandlotvintage.com, the Sandlot Vintage on Instagram, yada yada.
Do y'all have an OnlyFans?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But well, I mean,
Listen,
we'll
I
talk
mean,
after.
I'm just
We'll talk
saying,
after.
it's
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the scenes.
That's true.
Some
yeah.
people are using
yeah.
it for
I can
very
show a little
wholesome
shoulder.
things.
You know.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right. No, it's definitely. I mean, hey, anything for content. Everything's content. So
basically, you and Jay could set up the OnlyFans. I know he's been trying to start his own,
right.
little
Well,
gig. So
right. I mean, side hustles. It's 2023. You got to be making money where you can. So,
Some
but
people do it without actually because it's still a subscription based.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it doesn't
right?
have to be
Yeah.
something nasty. You
right.
know?
I mean, I think
Helps
to
us
me,
in.
it's like I think it was designed for things, that not very wholesome, but also like. There's some preachers that go up there and hit a little bit of cocaine before they preach, and
True.
Okay.
they bring the word. I'm not
Right.
saying that's right or wrong. I'm not a judge, but
Hey, not for us to judge.
that's
but, hey.
that's the way that the world works, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're
there's some
crazy,
great things. Like, there's police officers that come in, bust down the door, and save people's lives, right? And they could be a chain smoking. They could be smoking a cig in their car. Smoking cigarettes isn't healthy,
I
right?
smoke a cigarette right now.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily. My grandma, she smoked cigarettes. She lived to be like 90. And they didn't know it was bad back then, right?
Right.
But she smoked cigarettes all the time, and
It just became part of her DNA.
does that mean that
Right.
my grandma's a bad person? Not necessarily.
She
So-
probably also ate really well for the first 60 years of her life
Right.
too.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think we need to go back to I don't know, growing our own.
pretty
food
much
and
they're
whatnot.
like, bro, they're just rolling in the fields. You know what I'm saying? All they did was cut wheat back then, and they find this magical plant that grows out of the ground, and they're like, we could probably smoke this.
How do they figure this out? Is what I'm saying. Okay,
A
so
lot of
for
free
instance,
time.
yeah, that's true. I guess there's not a lot going on.
Somebody ate one
It's
berry.
what,
and they
3,000
died,
years? Yeah, 3,000 years of trial
Don't
and
smoke
error.
that plant.
Yeah.
For sure. So reeling it back in.
Yeah, sorry, we
Sandlot's
got it.
definitely gonna have an OnlyFans here soon.
Yeah, true.
But on the real, you were the first person I saw doing this. I don't know that you were necessarily. Did you start it in college?
It was sophomore year of college, so that would have been 2015. Started doing vintage, and it's just been a roller coaster.
walk me through the first time that you felt like you had that dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally can do that. So grew up lower middle class. Didn't really.
Let's hear it for the lower middle
for
class.
real. Hey, everybody needs to grow up lower middle class because you make do. You make
Right.
do. That's I wouldn't change a thing. But never could go to the mall and spend $60 on a t-shirt or $40 on a t-shirt. So naturally, thrift stores, consignment sales, yard sales, always in that ever since I was little.
And malls were wildin' back
Oh,
then.
yeah, well, dude, that was it. Yeah.
I had a conversation the other day about Abercrombie back in the day.
Oh.
When I was young and Abercrombie was hot,
It was
right?
it. It was it in middle school.
I couldn't even fit in their clothes because I was fat.
Yeah.
First
I
of
was
all.
too fat and
Let's go,
Well,
bro.
right.
He's
No,
a
you
fat
were
boy
fat
too.
kids.
Let's
Yes.
freaking go.
That's what I'm talking
Bro,
about.
if I
Shout
would
out
have
fat
known
kids.
this,
Lower middle class, fat kids.
Oh my
The
God.
best humans.
This
I
is
swear, because you
amazing.
grew up in adversity. Is
yes,
what it is.
Yes.
100%.
You have to develop a personality.
Yep.
But
That-
anyway, Abercrombie
maybe
was
that's
like
how people get it.
absolutely.
Absolutely. We're cracking codes here.
Right,
I'm the Zach Galifianakis gift. Where they
Can we
like,
please do that, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, Abercrombie was nuts. I was talking about it, and I was like, literally, they would just take a T-shirt, tear it up, throw some paint on it, and charge you $150 for it. And then
kids were buying it,
$60
running
for a
mom and
belt.
dad's credit card.
Bro, I'm telling you, they were freaking crazy. I mean,
Dude.
just absolutely just outpriced. That's the first time I feel like I didn't grow up in this. If I maybe grew up in Hollywood or where do all the rich people live? Mars
don't
and
know.
all, but maybe you're around Louis Vuitton and all
Yeah,
those top brands
yeah.
and stuff. But I never even knew of anything.
No, I hadn't heard of any of that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it was Aeropostale is probably what I was gonna get.
Yeah.
And then American Eagle is if I could maybe
Yeah.
talk my mom into getting it, bring my grandma in on
Yeah.
it, I could get some American Eagle. And then Abercrombie was just like out of reach.
Right.
So when you would see somebody with the cargo jacket with the fur inside at school, you were just like, oh my God, they're rich.
For me, my Aeropostale was like brand new Nike stuff. I always wanted the new Nike whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I'd go to Academy Sports and I'd see it, and my mom's like, Champions over there, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, like
but Nike Shocks, bro.
Oh my
God,
the grip they had on kids.
Oh my goodness.
When we were in middle school.
Yeah.
And for sure. For sure.
I wore those fat skater shoes.
The
You
Oasis
wore
or
one of
whatever,
those.
or Osiris,
Like,
or what is it?
your
Osiris,
fault,
America.
I was not a skater kid. I never got into
I wanted
that.
to be, but I was too fat. I carried my skateboard most of the time. But,
Yeah.
You know.
Bro, I swear you were probably low key emo, weren't you?
Oh, for sure. Not low key.
Not low key.
I was a sceney weenie, bro.
Dude, see, I never
Hot
had
Topic.
I never had that phase in middle school. I was never like
I was scared of those kids.
I wasn't scared. I don't know. I was always
You didn't
sports
have
kid, you know.
You didn't have the space.
No. I had the Bieber hair. Now I had that, but not like the gothic like scene like you said.
Can you sing us like, you know, a little emo, little riff real quick?
Oh god.
Put him on the spot.
21.
Where are you?
Let's go!
I'm so sorry.
He filed back in his head. It was like, all right,
I was
let
like,
me
hold
just.
on a second. Give me something.
Yeah, I got it right here, real quick.
7th grade in his room, looking at the wall.
That's gold.
like,
I just never had that phase. It's weird. I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's part of like the white kid experience of the 2000s. You know, every white kid in America had their like gothic phase, and I just never got into that.
You're either like super preppy or one of those.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you're living at.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Sure.
because I feel like listen, I'm not a white kid, but I feel like some white kids, like their parents would have slapped the goth out of them if they came home
Yeah,
with, like,
true. Especially
gauges
like
in,
Christian
you know?
culture. That's true. Wearing
My
all
dad
black.
took it well.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Well, that's good.
Mom
That's
was
good.
into it, but once the hair started getting straightened and everything, Dad was.
He was like, it's a little bit too.
I bet your dad was just like, as long as he likes girls, I think we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the conversation came up one time.
Yeah.
You know, it's all good. He was smooth with it.
Yeah,
So,
but
it's
you
all
know,
good.
as like used to be fat kids, I mean, it was hard to, you know, raise up a girl back in the day.
Oh.
I mean, you had to be
I was-
I substantially, like, my meter of funniness went substantially down as I lost weight. It was like boom.
I was like, I
boom.
don't have to be funny anymore.
And sometimes
Yeah.
I could wake up from a dream and I had the powers to access that funny, and I was I'm still funny.
Yeah.
And then as I got more and more fit and spent more time in the gym, I
Mm-hmm.
just substantially got less funny. It's like you lose
Yep.
your superpowers.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're not funny at all. So.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks, guys.
what style were you shopping for when you started thrifting?
Okay, so would go home every day. BET, Fresh Prince, and Everybody Hates Chris came on, and so I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I want the wardrobe of Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's what I want, and this is probably like 2012 that I've decided this. So
Before he smacked that dude in the face.
oh yeah, that was it was Chris Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah. I love Chris Rock. Everybody Hates Chris is Chris Rock.
That's
It's funny.
true.
Dude,
Oh,
whoa,
that is
that's
wild.
weird. Chris Rock with
That
Will
is
Smith.
wild.
It would
Yeah.
literally, I'd get off the bus at 3. It would be an episode of Fresh Prince and then an episode of Everybody Hates Chris.
That's crazy.
Foreshadowing.
That is,
Who
you might
knew?
be the
They
Antichrist.
planned this for years.
No news to
I'm
me.
just playing. I do not wish that upon you. They say he's coming out of the Middle East, though, so
Okay,
I think you're safe.
no, I'm safe.
But am I safe?
But we'll see. But yeah, so that's like what I went for was I wanted to dress like Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is all 90s apparel.
Yeah.
And at that time, 2012, that wasn't a thing. You know, like retro 90s, that like look wasn't,
sure.
Nothing was being produced. So where do you find that? Well, I was already always in thrift stores, yard sales, consignment sales. So I started like accumulating stuff for myself, not to sell. Fast forward 4 years in college, had this huge closet of vintage gear. And my mom actually visited me while in college. She walked in and I had clothes everywhere. And she was like, literally my entire business started because my mom looked me in the eye and said, Grant, when you graduate and you have to get a real job, you can't wear any of these clothes. What are you going to do with them?
You were
and
like,
I had
hold my beer.
I was like, no, the opposite. I was like, I had like a quarter life crisis right there. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. What am I going to do with all this stuff? So I was like, okay, I need to see if I can sell some of it. I was like, because I probably had like 150 items in my closet. I'm not wearing 150 different shirts. You know how clothes go. You
Yeah.
have like a rotating
But you
10.
want to wear it someday, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, and so I was like, all right, Well, I have no money in my bank account. I got all these clothes. I need to get rid of them. I'm going to sell them. So I did like my first little pop-up shop out in the garage of the auxiliary house I was living in at the time. And
What's an auxiliary house?
it's like it was a house that Lee owned.
Okay.
But I was living in it, but still paying.
Lee owned it, but you got to trash it. What a
Pretty
great
much.
deal.
Oh, dude, it was gold. It was gold.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It was like renting a house, but from Lee, so there was like really no rules.
Yeah.
There was
I
no
don't know
landlord.
How this hole got in the wall.
put it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah,
state
yeah,
lines.
exactly. So
Biden's gonna get rid of those student loans anyway. Just elect him one more time, guys. He's gonna get rid of those student loans.
Hey, just keep writing those checks.
Right.
Hey, give me.
Let's just give him 3 terms, right? If he's getting rid of those student lones, maybe he'll do it in 3 years.
But okay, where was I? I've lost track now.
He does that.
Auxiliary house
your
at
mom,
Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
auxiliary
Oh
house.
yeah. So my mom asked me that in, let's say, October of 2015. In May of 2016, I have to go on my cross-cultural trip.
Nice.
Got to pay for it for myself,
Gotcha.
lower middle class, of
Yeah.
course. And I was like, I got no money.
Yeah.
I've got to afford this to graduate. So I spent October to May thrifting everything.
Let's go.
Anywhere I could find it, and thrifting and finding stuff to put in this sale. I have negative $47 in my bank account when I have the pop-up.
Let's go.
I need spending money while I'm in England, Scotland to pay for food. Not like spending money like fun, but
Yeah.
like to be able to eat.
Survival.
Eating's
Survival.
good.
Yeah. Got to do it. But
Unless you're anorexic, then it's okay.
well, jeez. Former fat kids.
Yeah,
You know,
for
we
sure.
all
Got
know
it.
it. So, but I go in and I have this sale, and I'm thinking, man, if I could just make like $200, you know, I could get by on. I think the trip was 16 days. I was like, I can get by on $200. I sold a ton of stuff, made like $700 in 2 hours, and I was like, whoa.
You're like serious cash.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, in college. I mean, $700 is like,
Yeah,
I'm
dollar
good for
sign,
life,
right?
man. Yeah, really.
Relax.
I'm gonna retire next week. So, but I was like, okay, so there's a real interest here.
Yeah.
So I get my money, go on the trip, come back, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm making this a business. And so from then I get back in June of 2016, and then by the start of next year, August or September, whatever, I start my Instagram page. And so that was when I first started, and then from then it's just been a roller coaster. And then of course Vintage got huge during COVID, and I already had a platform and an inventory.
For sure.
Basically, Vintage is a big wave right now, and I caught it at the beginning.
Dude,
I was really lucky,
You were
honestly.
the one who did it, because I think thrifting had even become more popular already.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who like thrifted before, I was such a hipster. You know?
Yeah.
But like, you know, I was thrifting at the time, and like, I swear it was the Macklemore song. Yeah, whatever it was,
Thrift
he's
shop,
talking
yeah.
about it. He's
Yeah.
like $50 for a T-shirt, nah, and then he's like flexing the fur coats
Big,
and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
in the video.
I think that was 20.
And then everybody's like, oh, I can
14,
go buy cool
yeah.
clothes for really cheap, right? But you were the guy who was like, I could do this. And
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it was like, wow, why didn't I think of that? I'm sure
Yeah.
there were so many
Yeah.
people. And then there were copycats and everything, or I don't want to say copycats, imitators.
Yeah,
Just say
yeah.
admirers.
Other people can do it. Yeah, that's fine.
sure.
It's not my thing. I didn't copyright it, but I just
Well,
got in early.
Think, like it's a cool story, and I'm glad to get to like actually hear it and to be here in person. It's
Yeah.
awesome because like I think Jay, that song probably put a little gas on the fire. But I think it's cool if you look at your story how God kind of used your biggest like insecurity or crutch when you were young of like not being able to reach these obtainable brands
Right.
to set you up to be in the perfect position so
True.
that when
Very true.
you
I've
know
never thought about
COVID
it like
hit
that.
and this wave of vintage stuff started to surface because that's what it is. Like if you don't get in on the ground floor, you're not getting in.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so you had that vision earlier than everybody else. You had your brand set up, but
Yep.
God used that like heartache or that mountain that
Yeah.
he had in front of you
Yeah.
to actually propel you into your dream. But like back then, you're just in middle school and you're like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
why can't I have the
I
nice
can't have the
clothes
Nike,
that
I can't
everybody
have
else?
the Aeropostale, right.
And so now it's like you not only got to use that, but you're helping other people feel confident and look good in their clothes. And like he said, like I remember when you first started the brand and stuff, like it was so foreign
Yeah,
to everybody
yeah.
because for the longest time, and I mean, this is just my perspective, my humble opinion, but I felt like for a long time people looked down on
1,000%.
Like
1,000%.
for you to be able to like go in there and confidently grab those clothes and then kind of change the perspective, at least of the area that we are. That's a fight because like it's not like it was popular and you were like, okay, I'm going to start this brand. Like, you know, kind of like with the podcast. Podcasts were popular, so we're like, let's start a podcast. You know, but like for you, it was like, you know, I'm going to take this thing that people, like if you were going to Goodwill or, you know, you were kind of looked down on like, oh, well, they don't have money to actually buy these $100 shirts from these other stores. And now it's like, okay, well, people are seeing the value of it. Yeah. That value is just something that companies and people assign to clothes. It's not because the clothes are made any better. It's not because the styles or anything. It's the same clothes. You know what I'm saying? But for you, you were like, all right, I'm going to take this and use it to propel me towards my dream. And that's just crazy, man. Like, I loved hearing that part of your story, man.
I appreciate it.
Kudos to you, bro. Like, for real.
It was like you said, it was a God thing. Yeah, it wasn't anything that I had like insight or some grand master plan behind it. It was just something that I enjoyed that, I don't know, I just took it and ran with it. And I feel like that's anything in life, you know?
Yeah. But, you know, it must, and this is a question I want to ask you. I'm sure, Jay, you're probably curious about this as well, but like that first step, because I know we kind of struggled with this with the podcast a little bit, was like, you know, anytime that, and I feel like we're all high performers here, you know, and we all have like dreams and big goals. We don't buy into the matrix system of like, this is how you should live your life.
Totally agree.
And we're chasing big things, and that's why we're here. You know, we're here right now because of that. And so, but I know like when we first decided to start the pod, like there's a lot of things. So it's like in Arabic, we have this saying that basically, you know, the first step is like, is the journey, right? Like it's, I know it's like, it's like the first step is like, you know, almost there to the end. So, are we good? All right, we'll cut that out. Don't worry. But anyway, we have this saying in Arabic that the first step is the journey. So like the destination is the destination, and the first step is the journey. Because sometimes you take that first step, and I think if you knew what the journey was going to be, you would never have taken that first step. And so for us starting this thing, but also for you, where was your mentality, man? Like when you were like, I'm going to start this thing, because I mean, in that kind of like school, like we're going to a private Christian school. It is a very, I mean, I'm not saying this against any religion or any school or anything like that. I loved my experience at the school I went to, but it's a very judgmental place. Yeah, for sure. And so you stepping out there, anytime you put yourself out there, I mean, that in itself could open you up for a lot of things. So how did, like, walk me through that, man? Dude, what was the mentality of like my first pop-up shop? And then like, okay, I know people are going to see this. I know there's going to be haters. Like we've talked about this a lot of times.
For sure. No matter what you do, there's haters.
So like, what was that mentality going in?
Honestly, I think like, not to just like go back and talk over it again, but it's like growing up with, I mean, like being overweight, you know, like you got middle school is a just piranha pit of like anything, any weakness shown, you get hit for it. And so my formative years, I was an easy target. So now that I'm older, and in college I wasn't an adult, I wouldn't say, but I was old enough. I just don't care, you know? So I like, if I've always been, I'm very matter of fact and very like, I don't know, like rough edged. So if somebody's got something they want to make fun of me for, or something they want to say, have at it. You know, it's no different than it's always been. So even in a space that, like you said, it can be a judgmental space. I mean, I don't know. I think one time I was playing softball and I was up to bat or something. Or no, I was on third base, and the other team, I was playing one of the other frats or whatever. And the other team, one of the guys was like, "Hey, are you gonna sell that shirt tomorrow for $20 and mark it up?" And, I was like, and I was just like, "Yeah, you want it?" You know, like, but I mean, that's a small thing where yes, it was putting myself out there, but and I feel like that's kind of the, I don't know, the nature of this social media age we're into is like you put yourself out there and people are gonna make fun. People are gonna like people make like fun of me for being short all the time. You know, be short, fat, putting yourself out there. I mean, it's it's natural. So you just roll with the punches.
Well, I think
you know?
short kings are in right now.
Oh,
Apparently.
thank God! Finally, we have it's been the first time in forever.
And
So.
sorry, Jay Little, freaking 7 foot tall over there.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, my bad.
no, man, I think it's a real crabs in the bucket mentality because, you know, I feel like especially you're getting like a hyper look at life in a college situation. Like you're pulling
sure.
people from all over the world.
sure.
And yeah, there's like certain groups or whatever, certain types of colleges, but sometimes people just don't like to see other people succeed. I mean, I
1000%.
see this all the time. Like me and Martha, my sister, we're huge Formula One fans, and like we basically got into Formula One and became huge Lewis Hamilton fans when everybody wasn't Lewis Hamilton fans because he had been dominant, winning like, you know, year after year, 7 titles, tied for the most, has the most wins. And you start to see this point where you watch his career and you know, when you get so successful, right? When you become a go at something, like just you are, you know, in our circle in the fashion, you know, industry, like
I
a
wouldn't
go.
say that, but
And
that's a little much.
anyway, like, you know, when you become good at something, right, and you're getting noticed for it, you're making success off of it.
Detractors.
People want to see a hero fail.
Oh,
And that's
absolutely.
the same thing that I noticed in the same journey with Lewis Hamilton is like, we're just like, how could you not love this dude? I mean, he came from a background where he was completely the only one of color in the industry in a billionaires club, right? Using a used go-kart where him and his dad would be buying parts off the other rich dads, right? And they would be so looked down upon. His dad worked like 3 jobs, mortgaged the house because he knew his son could do
and that's
it.
why he's the best.
Right, exactly.
You know,
but even through that whole journey of like making this journey, even when he got to the top and dominated,
Now he's at the
there's
mountaintop,
still people
and
who
people
hate
hate
on
him.
him.
Yeah.
There's still people who want to see somebody fail.
Yeah.
And I feel like in college sometimes, like you branching out and starting that brand, there's always going to be those people who come and want to see you fail because it makes them feel better.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love
insecurities, dude,
no,
insecurities
dude,
are a beast.
Dude, I love being doubted. I actually do better when I have adversity to take over. When everything's just hunky dory, smooth sailing, that's when I get lost.
Right.
Because adversity is great. Adversity makes you either get up or you go home. You know, separate the men from the boys. So I don't mind.
And if you don't have haters, you're probably not doing much.
Exactly. If people don't like what you're doing, you're not doing anything worthwhile.
Yo, Jesus had haters.
Dude,
What up?
OG of
They
making
crucified him.
Yeah, they literally he is the pinnacle of hate for a long time, you know, of the world.
I wouldn't say the OG hated though, because you know there was some caveman that like none of his friends liked him or whatever, and they're like, oh no, this guy.
Yeah,
again,"
the most
you know?
notable,
made the wheel.
the most
What?
notable
Yeah.
hated man.
Like
in
he
all
could never
history.
make a fire. He could never catch a fish. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Some
that's
people
true.
just can't catch fish or make fires. You know what I'm
true.
saying? So okay, so let's say we walk through the journey, you start the brand. At what point were you like, hey, this could be a viable thing for me to do with the rest of my life?
So when I graduated, got a real job, worked a corporate job. I worked at Sherwin-Williams. Actually worked at the Sherwin-Williams down the road. I'm
Shout
like,
out
yeah.
Sherman.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
sure, the one in Dalton?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, dude, that's where I trained. I was down here
Yo.
all the time. So,
Man, I go in there stealing all those paint pamphlets all the time, bro.
And what were you doing there, sales?
yeah, I was an assistant manager, and it wasn't a bad job. I didn't dislike it. It was a good job for me because it was a blue collar job with a white collar paycheck. So I got to be in there and mix paint for a living, and it was fun. But I was still doing Sandlot at the same time.
How were the fumes though? Was it like sniffing Sharpies up in there?
it
You
was-
just walk into work and you're automatically buzzed.
Dude, the paint stripper dude, that stuff smells amazing.
Yeah.
It's like gasoline. It's
Right.
just so yeah.
Don't try that at home, kids.
No, but if you want to, it's very nice.
Yeah. But if you want a great job where you know,
Yeah.
you get to sniff paint all
Yeah,
day,
exactly.
Sherman-Williams is hiring.
But I was doing Sandlot at the same time, and then when it got to the point of I was making just as much with Sandlot as I was full time at Sherwin-Williams, and I was doing Sandlot in my free time. I was like, it's not adding up here. I'm spending 50 hours here, making the same amount as I'm spending 20 hours here. So it was actually 6 months into marriage. I had worked there for only a year. I quit my job
Let's go.
to do Sandlot full time, which was a leap of faith for my
sure.
wife,
Scary,
and
yeah.
and for me, I
Yeah.
didn't really doubt it. I knew because I was literally matching my paycheck with selling vintage, you know. So I was like, okay, there's something here. I can do this, and that was in August of 2019, and I've been doing it full time since. So here we are, almost 4 years later, which is crazy to think.
And would you just say it's smooth sailing?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And that's the thing, right? Because like when you quit a 9 to 5 to go do something real, chase your dreams, everybody sees the good side, like on social,
sure.
but it's like there's a lot of stress in there a lot of the time, a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours.
Oh yeah. They don't see me at midnight in my house packing up orders in my back, just like, oh my gosh, my back hurts. They don't see the 12-hour like thrift like road trips I go on, and I find 2 things. I'm like, well, I spent $50 on gas. I spent 12 hours and got nothing.
Right.
So,
but 100% worth it at the end of the day.
Oh, for sure.
Yo, I'm gonna just put this out there. We should do it All The Homies, where we go with you to a thrift shop.
Down.
Take a road trip.
Down.
Yeah, that would be.
Dalton's got some good ones.
Listen,
we can go right now.
Hey, listen, I would be so down to film an episode.
Or we can go to
that.
yard sales. I literally was on the way down here. I was like, yard sale sign, yard sale sign. I was like, shoot, I should have come down 2 hours early and hit all these. So.
Well, was there ever a point that you realized that you might have like a natural gifting for this? Because like I feel like you could take a normal person into the store, right, and they're gonna look through everything and be like, there's nothing here, you know. But then if you have that eye, and I think you're in the fashion space, right? You're dominating in the fashion space. So how was it like a natural thing that you just realized like, yo, I'm actually pretty good at picking these clothes out that people want?
I think it is less natural gifting and more if anybody is passionate and enjoys something and they dedicate themselves to do it, they can do it. No matter what it is.
I get that, but I know some people in my life that could be passionate and gifted or whatever that would not make it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like not everybody's meant to be in that space. Not everybody's meant to like run a company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
true. Some people are
gifted,
built, some are
but
followers,
you know what
some
I'm
are
saying?
leaders.
Like some people have the
Right.
passion. Like
He's just being humble. Let's be real.
No, I'm not kidding.
I wanted to look like Fresh Prince.
right.
Come
But I'm
on.
saying that like
He had the eye
when
for
you
it.
look at it, it's like the difference between like, you know, when you have somebody that's just like a naturally great dresser, right? Because they just can look at clothes and be like, this works good and this is my style. And then there's some people, man, who like have all these great clothes but just don't really know how to dress.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like super fashionable. Like I'm not like, oh, I want to be dripped out all the time. I'm like black shorts, black t-shirt, shoes. And
But
so,
that is fashionable.
yeah,
now.
but it's not. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just don't have like. I wouldn't consider myself like a stylish person.
Yeah.
You know, I just
feel
think. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no,
but it's
you're
like,
good.
I feel like fashion is really about how you rock something.
True.
Like it's how does
That's what
that
I was gonna
person
say.
look? How's the vibe that they're putting off? Because like you see fashion runways, these people were wearing some wild stuff. But
Oh, yeah, it's-
owning it.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so if you dress a little outlandish or maybe not even like in like what's considered stylish, but that to me is fly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
Well, and that's what's cool about vintage too, because like the term vintage means 1,000 different things,
True.
right? Because like I like, yeah, and well, and like there's like different like now, dude, you want to feel old? Like Y2K fashion is coming back, and I'm like. I'm just disgusted because it's like think of Michael Scott in the Office basketball episode when he's wearing like the swishy
the
pants
shorts,
and
oh
the
my God.
starter tank tops. Horrible fashion, and that's coming back.
Yeah.
Britney Spears music video. That's what girls are wearing now, and I'm like, that is not it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, but I mean, that's I don't know. Like you were saying, anything like if you rock it confidently and you like have a passion for it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like you can pull it off, and so that's where I don't know. I think it's cool now. You know, like I think it's cool to have your own style. And part of that's probably the internet. But I don't know. Like you're saying, growing up, like it was American Eagle and Aeropostale. That's what everybody wanted to wear.
Sure.
And now it's like you can see somebody walking down the street and they look like they are like workwear, for example. Carhartt, just distress, paint stains, rips, all this stuff. That's like a style now. But then there's also people that are like 70s bell bottoms, tight ringer t-shirt, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
But they're two totally different like worlds of fashion.
Right.
So I don't know. Everybody has their own thing, which is cool because it gives you, like I was saying, vintage is an umbrella of like you can pick and choose and go in different lanes, and different things are cool now,
Right.
but it could change in a year or 2
Right.
years. So
Right. Well, you know, the thing is, man, I've always said this and everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I've always admired homeless people's fashion.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
no, for real. Like, I'm always driving by and I'm like, man, if I had the opportunity, I would just like take a bunch of people off the street that were homeless, put them in a
It's like
fashion
that
show,
Instagram
and nobody
page.
would ever know.
You're
know?
totally right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like people of New York.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of homeless shoots, and it's like people like use that for fashion inspiration.
Very
I'm not
cool.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's where Kanye got all of his inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But and see, that's another thing. Kanye made like blanks cool again.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like 5 years ago. It was like big graphics, NASCAR T-shirts, stuff like that. And those are kind of going down. And now it's like blanks and like solid like monochrome outfits and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Omnichrome.
So like speaking of doing your own thing, owning your own, you started a TikTok, which I've not seen personally. I've heard it's gotten pretty big. Is this a vintage thing as well?
Yes.
You want to talk about it?
So okay, so that was kind of my COVID project.
Okay.
I was so obviously running an online store. Advertising is everything. Well, advertising is expensive,
Yes.
but social media is free advertising. Of course, TikTok, you have a ability to go super viral, and I could just throw my little website URL right in there. And so I wanted to make a TikTok page that was geared around vintage, but not just vintage clothes.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted it to be like something that I didn't want to be like a used car salesman on TikTok. You know, I didn't want to be like pushing a narrative or pushing a sale. So I was like, I want it to be vintage content, but not me selling vintage on TikTok. So I had a couple videos that just didn't do anything, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I was trying to figure out like a repeatable video. And so I posted one that was wallpapers, okay? Everybody has an iPhone.
Right.
Everybody likes cool pictures. And so I was like, all right, if I literally, in the caption, you can go back, and I was like, if this video pops off, I'll do one of these every day. And that one video, it was like, I got pictures of Woodstock from 1969 and did a song to the back, and it got like 1 million views.
Let's go.
And I was like,
Let's go.
what? And then, of course, my website URL was in there. I got a bunch of followers on Instagram. I got a bunch of sales, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make one of these every day. And of course, we were all trapped in the house for months on end. So for the first 3 months, I had nothing better to do. So I'd take a lot of time, make these wallpaper videos, make one a day, and they kept doing well. And then over the last, I guess, 3 years, it's just grown, and it's been a free tool for me. So it's awesome.
Let's go.
But yeah.
Watch out for this guy. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
No, but it was total accident. Again, just like starting Sandlot. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. I was always looking for like cool images to post on my Instagram page. And I was like, I have all these, like this camera roll full of high quality vintage pictures. I should just use them and share them. And that's really the big secret to all of it is if you have something you're passionate about and you want to share it, just do it.
Yeah.
Just get online, make it like palatable for Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want to do, and people of like mind and like interests will follow. So that's pretty much it.
It's freaking awesome. And you just kept doing it.
Yep, just keep on.
Consistency.
Yeah, can do
every single time.
anything in life, like you said. I don't have a natural eye for it. It's just consistency, man. Just every day. It's
Well,
like
people don't
it's like
see-
working out. You know,
Right, exactly.
if you want results, you got every day. You slack, all right, you're gonna lose some.
True.
But every day.
True.
And so I've just been consistent for nearly a decade now.
The gym
And
don't lie.
Yep, exactly.
Unless you're on steroids.
That's true.
But you know, anyway, so you know the thing I like the point you made, like people don't see the videos that you made that flopped, right? Like you said, you made videos that had flopped, and it was just staying consistent through that. So when you did make that one video about Woodstock was a concert, right?
Yeah, it was a big music festival.
Yeah, I'm foreign, so
Well, that's
anyway,
okay. When you're talking about F1, I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what that
same.
is.
Anyway, so when you made that video and that idea popped in your head of like, you know, because how many, like it's like a big following for your TikTok page?
It's a
It's
couple.
a few.
A couple people.
Yeah.
It's like 1 million likes per.
Okay. So when you
TikTok's different though. 1 million followers on TikTok is
No,
not a big,
but
it's
that's
different.
awesome.
It's not a big deal.
Alright,
listen,
bro.
that's awesome. I
Well-
mean, it is because that just shows consistency, right?
Yeah,
Making
yeah.
those videos every day, but also giving people what they want as well. There's some crazy stuff that goes viral on TikTok, but I think for a guy to go viral on TikTok with some great ideas, that's the
true.
hardest way to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you ain't got no booty to show
Nope,
or nothing.
nope.
You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like there's no easy way to do it.
Right,
And so
right.
it's pure work ethic. It's great ideas. And so when you had that first idea about posting the Woodstock thing, did you know? Like, did you have a feeling that's
No.
like, man, this could be
Not at all.
a
And
great hit?
what's even funnier is like probably like 3 or 4 videos before that, I had one that I was like, okay, this one's good. Like I was like, I think this was gonna do well. And I remember I posted it and then locked my phone, went to bed, and I was like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and there's gonna be a ton of views. I'm gonna have a
Right.
bunch of likes of it. Woke up and it was like 8 views,
Oh,
no.
2 likes. I'm like,
best friend in the
awesome.
world
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
I was like, dang it. So yeah, but no, I didn't think
Yeah.
it was gonna do well because I mean it wasn't really like it wasn't anything that was that I came up with.
Right.
Even it was just
Right.
like cool pictures, which
Very
are
cool.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
But there was very little creativity behind it, I guess. So
Sometimes the things that seem like the least creativity are
the stupid
most,
ones. Yeah.
are, yeah, you know, so
100%.
But that's awesome, man. I'm glad to know that you're still grinding on a lot of fronts
yeah.
and stuff, and I think it's really cool, especially when you have somebody like with your story. Like, you know, there's in this day and time, there's so many people that are gaining a level of, I guess, like fame or access when they're very young, and then by the time they, you know, mature and become adults, you see it all the time in like show business and stuff,
Oh,
like
of course.
child stars that just like lose their minds.
You're not meant to have that much exposure
Exactly.
as a kid.
And for you, man, it was like this real story of like, and just having this conversation, like, you know, people can tell that are watching this, and we could tell that like you're just a humble, great dude, man. Who like you had
I've
to
got
go
y'all
through
tricked.
those. Right. No, but I'm saying, man, like you had to go through those times of being in those places where there's nothing you can do. You're going to school every day.
Yep.
Every day. And for anybody who went to middle school that wasn't homeschooled, okay, and if you were homeschooled, you're probably not watching this because you can't use YouTube or the internet. But what I'm saying is, like, anybody who went to school, they know that every day was a fashion show.
Oh, yeah.
Every day was
Of
a
course.
fashion show,
Of
bro.
course.
First day of school, you're working all summer on that
Yeah.
outfit. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
for
Like,
sure.
and then you get up, you
And for
got it
us, you're
laid
running
out.
all summer trying to drop a couple pounds and not be fat.
Right. Yeah, that was way later. But in middle school, all I cared about was eating, and then like you get your first day outfit or whatever, and then from there it's kind of like you got a couple good outfits,
Yeah,
and then it's
yeah.
like back to the norm.
Back to, yeah.
But like,
Trash.
you know,
Yeah.
to go through that, like I know that's a formative time for a lot of people. You know, you're dealing with like people developing egos and developing insecurities, and then
For
a
sure.
lot of stuff that their parents project on them. And so you're in this realm where it's like
Super vulnerable.
exactly,
Yep.
and you went through that. It's an amazing story, and it's like then God kind of just not gifted you, but blessed you with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ability to like now have more clothes than you know what to do
Yeah,
with, and now your
yeah.
business is closed, and it's such a
Right.
redemption story, man. I think a lot of times like life works that way. Like I have a cousin who moved to the States, and you know spoke no English, was coming over here, and he got a job at Dairy Queen, knew somebody that owned a Dairy Queen from church,
Yeah.
and he would ride his bicycle
Yeah.
every day, 5 miles there, 5 miles back, in the rain. He was in Indiana, so I
Okay.
mean you're talking like snow, rain. It's
yeah.
just flat as a pancake out there. You know what I'm saying? So every day he would ride his bike. I mean, this was like for 2 or 3 years until he got a manager position. Eventually, he opened up a car dealership.
Wow.
And I was like,
How
dude,
cool.
how crazy is it that
Yeah.
when you came to the States,
the American
you
dream.
did not have a car,
Yeah.
and now you have thousands of cars.
Well,
like,
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget that are born here and people that are just given things.
Yeah.
You know, the American dream is not for people that grew up with a silver spoon. It's for the
True.
people that earned it, and those are the people that appreciate it and do it right.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Which is crazy, man, because sometimes you're working hard and you earn it, and then like a plane crashes into your house or something.
Oh yeah,
and, you know,
yeah. I
it
mean,
is-
yeah.
You know,
Everything
you
can
tried
fall
hard,
apart
but you know,
just
fate
like
just
that.
didn't have it for you, and you know, some people that's how it goes. So you know, life's crazy. It's awesome how you know we've got to know each other. I know I've been looking forward to sitting down with you because, like I said, we've always had that mutual respect. You've came up in mine and Jay Little's conversations often, man,
Yeah.
and you know we even like you more than we like Brandon now. And,
Well, that's
you
not
know,
very hard to do. That's the problem.
the thing is, you know, it's really cool to get to see this side of you because a lot of people that have this type of success, especially in the online social platforms and stuff,
For sure.
they are a different type of breed. Like conversations with them and stuff are a little different. We've known some people that have had success in these areas, but my point was that you battling through these things, like back then they just seemed like hardships that were on you,
Right.
but now make you the type of dude who like can relate to people and know where the need is and know what people are going through and like helping you know, somebody that was in your situation actually have cool, vintage, affordable
Right.
clothing, man.
Right.
That's like what changing the world
Yeah.
is. And so
Yeah.
like mad props to you, bro,
I
to
appreciate
everything that you're doing. I know like for a lot of people, like that's an inspiration. Like, you know, there's going to be somebody that's watching this in the future that's like, man, I've always wanted to start this or do this.
Yeah.
And you are a story that is like, hey, this is the reality of it. Like, this was my gift, and I just went out there on a limb. Like, this could have flopped. I could have looked stupid
Yeah.
in school by
I got
starting
no
this.
issues looking
Exactly,
stupid.
yeah.
I do that on my own.
You
all
know
the
what I'm saying?
time,
But
so.
then you stayed consistent
Yep,
with it.
that's the key.
And it worked for
Consistency.
you. So
For sure.
very cool.
Yeah.
You got any wisdom or advice that you would want your closest homie to know?
That's
Wisdom
a
or
good one,
advice.
Jay. Always come in.
To have-
I'm telling you, he's powerful. He's powerful.
To have
He-
wisdom, you got to be wise.
Yep.
So, very little of that. But I think, I don't know. It, kind of
I
a
didn't prep you
kind
for
of
this,
well,
I
it's fine. Kind of like a
How do you
skit.
fix world hunger?
Yeah. Well, okay. So first thing is people got to stop being selfish, and that's
True.
never gonna happen. So
Human nature.
Yep. But my advice would be to anybody that I guess everything comes back around. What goes around comes around. How you treat people gets put back on you, and those people you might run into them later. So you just got to be Jesus to everybody, you know. And when you do that, then
Do
it
you
comes
need to
back.
be white Jesus, black Jesus, or Arab Jesus?
Ginger
well-
Jesus?
Or ginger
Oh,
Jesus?
my bad.
Well, that's ginger Jesus.
Or Korean
Yeah.
Jesus?
I'm back.
So, but no, for real. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's it. You gotta treat everybody with love, and then
Yeah.
you give love, love comes back.
All right, brother. Been a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all
being
for
on.
having me on. It was fun. I
Yo,
enjoyed it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro. Good?
Yeah, smooth.
Okay, yeah.
You're a natural.
One take.
You're a wizard.